Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Shores of Hazeron, episode 20 for the series. And the last time we left off, I had gone over the starship construction screen, or the spaceship construction screen, and kind of showed you everything with that and how to build a very basic spaceship or starship. And here we are now. So here is actually a starship that I designed myself. It is not the same one I built in the design one. This one I built kind of off to the side. Now let's get a top-down view of that, but I'm very happy with it. This is a Explorer class ship. So it doesn't have any weapons or real defenses or anything. Its main thing is speed and large fuel holds to be able to travel longer distances and be out in space for much longer. And a massive observation deck you can see outlining the top here, which is used for me mainly to kind of look out into the solar systems that I'm exploring and see what kind of planets are out there and what kind of star the system has, and if there's any life nearby and all sorts of stuff like that. So very happy with how it came out. Very cool design. And this is going to be a very, very busy episode because I've got a lot to tell you guys. I've got a lot to talk about, and we've got a lot to go do and a lot to see. So hopefully I can make some good progress here without messing anything up. Just a quick tour. Inside here, we've got a buggy. This is so I can get stuck here. This is so I can land on planets and actually drive out and explore them if I want to. So pretty cool there. If I can close the door now. Maybe. The ships are a little finicky. I'll give them that. Alright, well, never mind. And right here we've just got a small cargo hold. Actually, I think the door is closed by itself. I'm pretty sure sometimes they close by themselves. There's certain doors. Yeah, it did. Okay. Yeah, we got a cargo hold back here. Nothing too crazy to look at there. Heading on up. We're heading up to the level where a lot of the rooms are, as well as the engine rooms and the main bridge. So we're just going to go check out the bridge because this is, out of everything, this is the most important part of the ship. And here we are. So we're in the bridge. We've got the navigator who sits here, the helm, or the pilot, essentially, who operates the ship here, and then the captain who can sit here. I'm, of course, going to be the captain of this ship. So that'll be my seat. However, I do prefer to actually navigate the ship from up here. This is actually my officer's quarter. And I spend most of the time up here when I'm navigating through the stars. So I can look out and see what kind of planets are in the system, what kind of moons, how many there are, or at least roughly how many there are. And if I could tell maybe if they support life or not, if they're a gas giant. I can also see maybe enemy ships that might be in the area from here. This is all visually, of course. I don't have the technology yet for the proper sensors. So having an observation deck that is large like this is pretty much crucial to how I'm going to operate this Explorer class ship for the very early stages of our empire. Now, something to mention real quick, because I want to bring it up before I go any further in the episode. I have already been in space. This is the second of this class of ship. This is the second one. This isn't actually the first ship. I've already gone off and tested a lot of the mechanics up in space for how it works and done a little bit of exploring. And unfortunately, I lost my first ship to a terrible accident. I warp traveled into a system I've never explored before, and a pirate was waiting for me on the other side. In an attempt to force me to stand down so he could rob me, he shot at my aircraft, kind of like or at my spacecraft, my starship, kind of as a warning shot, you know, to let me know he's going to destroy me if I don't stand down and open my doors and allow him to come in and rob me. Unfortunately, just pure coincidence, that shot happened to hit my engines, which disabled them. Not normally a problem, except for the fact that I can't go anywheres. But what ended up making that a big problem was that the system I happened to warp into also contained a supergiant, massive star with a incredibly huge gravitational pull. Now, this wouldn't be a problem for a ship with engines, but for a ship without engines, it's a huge problem. So once my engines were disabled, there was nothing to prevent me from literally being pulled by the gravitational force of this star into the star, which ultimately killed both me, my crew member, and ended the ship. I think it was like something ridiculous, like 34 million damage. Yeah, everything was incinerated. So that was my first experience. Hopefully this one doesn't go the same route, but we'll see. Another thing I want to bring up real quick before I go any further is that I'm going to be changing the names of my empire. I'm going to be changing the empire flag and the names of the cities and the names of the spaceships eventually. So everything is going to change. That is so that way I can prepare myself to open immigration, because I'm going to allow people to join the empire and be a part of the journey in the very near future, probably in a couple episodes or so, after I felt like I've gotten a better wrap around things and I've actually felt like the empire is set up and ready to accept people. I'm going to be doing that. So if you want to join, definitely let me know. I'm going to start working that out. But until I get everything changed, like names and such, that won't be happening. So I also won't be naming any of my ships until I change the empire name. So that's how that is going to be for now. Kind of sucks, but if I want to get people into the empire, I want to go through and do a big change and get it kind of more better established. Is it snowing right now? It is snowing right now. Okay, let's start by first getting a crew together. So we're going to hail our city. I don't need these two, so I'll just close that. And then we're going to actually get some passengers. So down here, you can click on this little button. That'll allow you to board officers, crew, and troops. We can get 3 officers, so we're going to do that now. They're going to start boarding. We're also going to grab ourselves some crew. We've got enough room for 6 crew members. And we're going to get ourselves some troops. Somewhat help us defend the ship from boarding parties. There we go. Our crew's coming on the ship. They're taking their seats in the proper areas. We got our navigator over here, SN Ojes. We've got our pilot, Jumzima. And then we've got our officer, our Normican. He's sporting a pretty nice looking shotgun right now. I think everybody else probably has pistols, but yeah, so we're all ready. Now, yeah, he did take my seat, but that's fine because I generally don't like sitting in that chair anyways. I feel like it restricts my ability to look around better, so I'll be commanding from the observatory deck up above. But yeah, these are our crew members, and if I went and looked around, you'd see that the other crew members are probably patrolling around the ship, manning the engines, the engine room, and the power relay room in the back, and our troops are probably just chilling in the barracks, which is another room that I've installed on the ship, also near the back towards the engine room. So I'm not going to go really look at all that, just kind of filling you in so you know they're there. But I'll leave these guys down here with my officer manning the captain's chair for now. I'm going to head up top here. And this is where I will be navigating the ship from. I think it is the most important area to do that. Now, I could load some cargo and such on here. But I haven't really messed around with that yet. And I don't really expect us to survive for very long, as bad as that is to say. So I'm just not going to worry about it. And we're just going to kind of practice flying around here so I can show you what's going on. So right here, if you click over here on mission, that opens up your spacecraft mission screen. You can also access it by just clicking on the icon here, which actually opens up not only the spacecraft mission screen like this here, but it also opens up tabs on the side so you can actually access these other screens too. So I'll just keep this one open because it allows me to get to everything I need, or I may need. And now to give a mission, so to actually give our crew a mission, we're going to come over here, the little asterisk looking thing, click new mission. It's going to open up a list that is insanely huge and shouldn't be that large. That's a lot better. It's going to open up a list of missions we can actually select. And we could give multiple missions and they'll actually continue them out. So we could actually give them like a huge list of missions and they'll just do them all. But we're going to give them the mission to go to a particular planet. So let's do orbit, planet, or star. And we're going to do Futopia Prime 2A, which is, so our capital is on Futopia Prime 1. We've got Futopia Prime 2, which is the second planet up there in the solar system with the ring around it. Futopia Prime 2A, which is the moon that circles around that planet. And then Futopia Prime 2BR, which is actually the ring that circles around that planet, because you can harvest resources from the rings, so it is possible to go there and visit it. But we're going to go to our lunar planet, just go within orbit of it. So we're going to give that mission, and then we're going to click on the activate mission, and we're going to take off. Not right off the bat. Take a second. Our officers are going to give the order to our navigator, and then our navigator is going to set the course. Here we go. And the man operating the helm is actually going to pilot this bad boy off into space. So as you can see, moving a lot quicker than a regular spaceship. We've literally blasted way straight through the atmosphere. And now we are moving forward. There you go. The planet you can see in the background, leaving it far behind. As we blast off into the stars here. Terrible view. There we go. And we make our way towards Lunaria, which is currently where our moon colony is. So pretty damn awesome, if I do say so myself. Really awesome. If you press backspace, you can actually look up and see a sort of layout of the floor you're currently on. You can see the contrails back there. Pretty cool looking. We just skirted past the ring right there, so there it is. And we are heading towards our lunar base. Now I gave the order to actually orbit Futopia Prime. So we're not actually going to the lunar base. We're just coming over here to sit outside of it. There we go. I've been told that we are now orbiting it. You can see our city kind of down there, except we just made ourselves somewhat parallel to the moon. Or we kind of flattened ourselves out. But you can see our city there for a brief second. So we are in the area now. I could order them to land there. But there's really no point. There's nothing I actually need there. I just wanted to show you guys what it's kind of like to fly off there and check it out. But what I really want to take a look at is the wormholes, because that's how we can actually travel to different systems. Now, there's something I should bring up. I think I brought it up before, but I'm going to say it again. There's two ways to travel to other systems in the galaxy. You've got your wormholes, which are your quickest form of travel. And then you've got something called deadheading, which is literally flying to the system. So you see these big stars out here? These are systems that I can travel to. Now there's a lot more than that. These are just the ones I can see from where the system I'm in right now. But if you take a look at the galaxy screen, I'm about to give myself away again to where my location of my empire is, but I'm not worried about it. If you actually zoom out here, you can see all of these stars are systems that I can visit. And it gets pretty overwhelming as you zoom out. Larger and larger, you'll see that there is the galaxy is massive, okay? Like, seriously, this is ridiculous. But yeah, zooming back in, you can see lots of stars to visit. So we've got lots of systems to visit. Now, I can use wormholes, which you can see these are where those lines kind of go to. I can use wormholes to visit these systems, or I could literally set a course to say this star over here, and I could just fly to it without jumping through the wormhole. That's how massive this game is. I could literally fly through space to any of those systems. Now that takes a while, and there is a calculation for how much fuel and how long it would take and how fast you're going and stuff. As anything, you know, there's a mathematical equation or a calculation to figure out how long it'll actually take you to get there, and you can find that on the wiki page if you actually want to do deadheading and travel to some of these places without using the wormholes. But to travel to like the nearest system here, I think me and Dean too were talking about it, and he said it could take somewhere up to like 2-3 hours. So it's no joke. The universe is massive in this game. We're going to actually use the wormholes though to travel, because that is the quickest way to do it. So now if we take a look up here, you can see there's 3 wormholes in this system. Now, a couple of things that Dean 2 taught me that I'm going to relay to you guys is that there's blue and there's red wormholes. The blue is indicates a positive polarity, whereas the red wormhole indicates a negative polarity. So basically, consider or think about it this way. The blue wormholes are entrances, and the red wormholes are exits. So if we looked at this, we could say that there's two entrances here that lead to exits in another system. So that means if this is blue and this is blue, the opposite end of these wormholes are going to be red. Now, if we look at this red one here, we can assume that this red one goes to another system and the opposite end of that is blue. However, these two wormholes go to the same system. Now, how can we make that, how can we make that assumption? Just by looking, without actually visiting them, how can we know? Well, these wormholes actually make a straight line to the system you're going to go to. So if you took the beginning or the entrance of this wormhole right here, and you drew a straight line from where the hole is, and you drew it straight through, it would eventually lead exactly to the exit of this wormhole in another system, or the negative polarity wormhole, or the red wormhole as we're calling it. So because these two are so close together, and because they're both pointing in the same direction, we can assume that both of these wormholes go to the same system. It's just that one of them is the entrance with the exit in the other system, and then one of them is the exit with the entrance in this system. So, or I'm sorry, yeah, one of them is the entrance with the exit, and then one of them over there is the exit, or is the entrance with the exit in our system. That's what I'm trying to say. So I could use both of these wormholes to go to the same system. It doesn't matter. The polarity doesn't matter at all. You can use a red wormhole to get to a blue wormhole and a blue one to get to a red one. It doesn't make any difference. The only thing it does make a difference is on what polarity your warp drives of your ship are set to. So if I have a positive polarity and I try to enter the negative polarity wormhole, I will blow up. And the same goes for positive with a negative polarity. So I think I just said those the same way. Yeah, so either way, vice versa, you want to make sure you have the right polarity when entering a wormhole. Now, if you set the course for a wormhole, like I'm going to do, your crew will already set the polarity for you. You don't need to worry about it. But if you are operating a ship manually, all by yourself without a crew, you want to make sure you set the correct polarity or you will explode. So that's just some stuff to keep in mind. I know for you veteran players who are watching this, all of that probably seems extremely dull and boring. And I know it's definitely probably dull and boring to you, but I want to make sure that I explain things the best I can for you new guys watching this who have never played the game before and are maybe interested in how a lot of this works. So we're going to travel via wormhole to a solar system. We've got a couple different solar systems here. So this is different. And let me tell you why this is different. So you've got your named solar systems and all systems, and we can take a look and we can see that these are all the systems that connect to us. Now, if a system has a name, kind of like Photopia Prime, then that system is more than likely populated by another race of people, or another nation, or a galactic empire, or whatever you want to call it. So we actually connect one jump away. There's a place called Compostela, and that is a system that is named by somebody else who actually populates that system. Now, chances are, if you click on this and it doesn't have a name, there's a couple of things that could happen. That system could either have never been visited before, or it may have been visited. However, the civilization that built a city there has long died off, and the city has decayed, and the system has reverted back to a standard letter system for the name of it. So some of these have never been touched before by anyone, and some of them have been touched before, but they've died off and are now just random names and don't really mean anything. And we can see how many jumps away they are. We can see the actual parsecs, how many parsecs they actually are. So if we want to do a deadheading to this system, we could do that. We just got to understand it's going to take 4.02 parsecs. So it's going to take a while for us to actually get there by deadheading it. But it is one jump away. And then this system actually wasn't named yesterday when I visited it, and it is named now. So that means somebody's been there and somebody's been lurking around and naming the system. So we're very close to some other nations, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, depending on their stance when it comes to other races. They could be friendly, they could be aggressive. We really don't know, honestly. So just so you guys can see what the wormhole looks like real quick before we end this episode, let me head off to the BMXY LB system. Hopefully we don't blow up because of pirates, but that is a huge possibility, as it happened within almost like 30 minutes of me flying around. I got attacked by pirates. So it kind of sucked, but there we go. Laying a course. Engines are firing up. Getting ready to move forward. Heading towards the wormhole that is going to take us to this system. Like I said, our navigator will, or actually I think it's the engine bay. The guy who operates in the engine room and operates the engine module, I think he's the one that actually sets the polarity. So he'll have the polarity set to make sure that it is positive, since it looks like we are heading towards this blue wormhole. There's the two over there I was talking about. Before we enter this wormhole, you could probably get a good sight right now how they're both heading in pretty much the same direction. So like I said, if you draw a line from the wormhole down, it leads to the other wormhole, which means that that's why I can assume they both go to the same place. And I know they do because I visited it. I actually went into these wormholes, and they do both go to the same place, but I could make the assumption based off the fact that they're both so close together. You know, the line going straight is going to enter another system. Unless, you know, maybe one goes to a system behind the other one, but that's highly unlikely. Especially since we could see in the galactic map that it pulled up earlier that there's actually only 2 lines connecting to our system. So there we go. We entered the wormhole. Didn't blow up, so that's good. We could potentially die on the other end of this. There could literally be a pirate waiting on the other side of this with an ambush ready to strike us. And if they do, this ship is not fitted for combat or hardly really survivability, and so we will probably instantly die. So far so good, although it only takes a couple minutes for a pirate. Sometimes they might not hit you right off the bat. Okay, we haven't been shot yet, so that's a good sign. So here we are. We went through the wormhole, and we're actually in a whole other system, far away from home, a couple parsecs away, which is a very long distance. And if we actually take a look out the window, we'll see that space is a very vast, empty place. Playing this game has really, you know, been an amazing eye-opener. You know, not only is it just a good game, but when you just look out there, you just, just space is just massive. It's just crazy to think about. I mean, it just goes on forever. I don't want to start talking about that. It always gets me thinking way too deep when I talk about that. But there we go. We've got a planet. First ever planet outside of our system that we visited together. Looks like it's a purple planet. It's got a moon there. We don't really know much about this planet. We could go visit the surface of it and see what is on it. That's a possibility. We could also, if I get some scanners equipped, we could potentially fly over the orbit and scan the planet for resources. That's always a possibility as well. And there's lots of different resources out there that we haven't discovered yet. There's lots of different planets, different things. There's also hidden artifacts and such here and there. There's things called ring worlds, which I really want to find one. There's a lot of really cool stuff out there. However, we are at the end of this episode. I do got to cut it off here in the middle of all of this excitement. But next time, we're going to go do some exploring. Now that I've got the whole spaceship kind of explained how things work, we're going to go on a little bit of an exploration mission, see if we can't find some potential systems to maybe start harvesting some different resources. So that'll be the plan. Thank you guys for joining me so much. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.